to show you how to make this little tassel here, okay, which you can then use to attach as a bit of embellishment to your little purses. Okay, obviously you can use it for other things as well, but I'm going to show you also how to attach it to the purse. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to need 2 colors of size 11 OC beads. You're going to need some fire line, which is £8 or £6 or £4 is fine as well. A size 10 or a size 12 beading needle. You're going to need a little piece about 30 centimeters, probably 12 inches of 0.8mm wire. Then you're going to need 1 eye pin. You're going to need a little bead that's 4mm in diameter. For your tools, you're going to need a pair of side cutters, a pair of round nose pliers, and a Wags Wicone tool. Okay? Right, so to make my little beaded tassel, I'm going to start off by using the Wags Wicone tool. I've got the shorter one here. You can use the standard size one as well if that's the one that you have. So different people use them slightly different ways, so I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm just going to put my wire through the little hole at the top, okay, and then I'm going to turn the end of it up, okay, like so. Don't worry if it's not directly up because you're going to cut that piece off at the end anyway. And then I'm going to start twisting my Wags Wicone around, but I'm not going to push my wire close to it. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, so like that, can you see? Because that'll make it easier for me to take it off the tool at the end. Okay, and then I'm just going to carry on. From here I can go tight against the tool. Just going to pull it. Keep your tension on the wire and make sure it's nice and snug up against the rest of the coil that you've done so far. Just keep going until you get down to the bottom. Almost there. Okay, so I've done that. So now to take my coil off the tool, this gap that I left here at the top, okay, I can cut the wire there quite easily, like so, which means I can take this little bit here and just wiggle it out of there. You can use some pliers for that if you need, or you can just push it out and then it falls off the tool, the rest of it. Now you've got that. Okay, now I just want to neaten that up a little bit. So first of all, just follow the edge of your wire to where it starts getting neat, because the last coil might not be very neat. And then just snip off the excess. Just make sure you only cut the one coil. Okay, so that's the bottom of your little cone. And then at the top, again, you've got a little bit here that's not very neat. So just snip off a little bit of that. So you have a nice neat little cone there that you can put at the top of your tassel. Okay. Right, so now we've got our little cone made for the top of our tassel. So now we're going to make the actual beaded part of the tassel. So you're going to need your needle threaded with about 1 meter or 1 yard of thread, and you're going to need your eye pin. Now just make sure that the loop of the eye pin is nice and closed, because you don't want things coming out of there while you're working. Okay. So you're going to take your needle through the eye, okay, bring it down to the end, and you're going to tie a double knot to keep that in place. You don't need a tail really here, you're going to cut it off anyway, so just as much as you need to be able to tie your knot. Okay, so now you're going to start putting your beads on. So you're going to pick up 30 to make this tassel, this size tassel. You need to pick up 30 of your first color. Obviously you can pick up less if you want to make a shorter tassel, or you can make it as long as you want. I'm not going to count out 30 beads here because you don't need to watch me count to 30 several times. So I'm just going to pick up a few, and then you sort of get what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got a few there. Just pretend I've got 30 on there. And then I'm going to pick up 1 in the other color. Okay, I'm going to bring them down to my eye pin. Okay, Then I'm going to go back up through all of the beads except for the last one, because the last one is what's going to hold them on my thread. So I'm going back through all of these beads, including the one at the top, pull my thread through. So that's my first tassel. This is a very short little tassel, but you get the idea. Okay, now what you need to do is you need to take your needle through the eye again, like so. Okay, and then you go back down the very top bead. Again, this kind of anchors your thread onto your eye pin. So you go down that very first bead that you added in your first tassel. Okay, so now you need to add 30 beads again, but this one here that you just went through counts as your first one. So now you would add 29 silver beads on here. Again, I'm just going to pick up a few just so you get the idea. Okay, so let's say I've got 30 on there again. And then again, I'm going to pick up one in the other color, bring them down, and then I'm going to go back through all of them except for the last one, which is the different color one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through that one that's at the very top, which is where I started this particular strand of my tassel. I'm just going to go through the loose ones that I added on afterwards. Okay, so now I'm sort of one bead away from my loop here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up another bead. Okay, bring that down, that's going to be my top bead. Okay, then I'm going to go through the eye of my loop again. Okay, make sure your bead doesn't go through your eye. Okay, and then you're going to go through that bead again, in the opposite direction. So my thread is coming up this way now, so now I'm going to go downwards to start my next strand of my tassel. Okay, so when you pull it tight, you'll see that bead essentially becomes the top bead of this strand here and the top bead of this next strand of the tassel that I'm going to do now. So now you do the same again, and you take away the one that you've already come through, so you're picking up 29 beads again. Okay, let's say I've got 29 on there, and then one in the other color. And same thing again, I'm coming down again, and then I'm going back through all of them except the last one. Okay, now you do this approximately 5 times, so I'm not going through the last one, the one that's close to the eye. I'm missing that one out again, pulling them tight. Okay, now you can do this about 5 times, and then your beads start becoming too wide to fit onto your loop here. So once you've done that about 5 times, then what you're going to do is you're going to reuse these beads that are the closest to your eye pin again. So let's say I've got 5 of those attached onto there now. So now this time what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pick up an extra bead. I'm actually going to go back up through one of the existing beads that's there next to my loop. It doesn't matter which one. This top bit doesn't need to be very neat at all because you're going to cover it up with your little cone. So just go through any of the beads that are right up next to the eye, then go through the eye, and then come back down again through any of the beads that are right next to the eye of your eye pin. Okay, and now you're going to do the same again, so you're going to pick up 29 beads again. Okay, and one in the other color. Bring them up to your eye pin, and then go back up through all of them again. All of them, including one of the beads, even if it's the other one, whichever one you can still get your needle through. So you can go through this one here as well. Just go through one of the beads that's already there, because you kind of need to save some space around the eye of your eye pin, because otherwise you're not going to have enough space to fit all your tassels in. Okay, and then again you're going to go through the loop and then come back down again through one of the existing beads that's already there. Okay, So you're just going to carry on doing that until you have 12 strands for your tassel. Okay, all the same length and hopefully a little bit longer than what I've done here. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do that, make another one that matches this one, and then I will come back to show you how to finish it off. Okay, so now I've done the 12 strands on my tassel. Okay, I've taken the needle off my thread. I've still got my little tail thread here. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie my working thread into a double or even a triple knot with my tail thread. So that's 1, 2, and the third one, or you can do a surgeon's knot if you prefer. Okay, so that's it, and then you can just cut these off. Don't go too close to the knot, you can leave a little bit on there because you're going to cover it up in a minute. There you go. Okay, right, so as you can see it is quite a bit of a mess at the top here, but then you take your little cone that you've made, put it over the top, and that covers up all the nasty bits at the top. Okay, and then you're going to take your 4mm bead, you're going to add that onto your eye pin as well. Okay, like that. And then you're going to use your round nose pliers, going to bend over your eye pin. Then you're going to use your side cutters, cut it off so you have about 1 centimeter left there. Okay, right, and then you're going to turn a loop with your round nose pliers. Okay, just make sure that it goes really nice and tight against your bead. Okay, to hold it in place. A little bit crooked, but you can straighten it up. And there you go, there's your little tassel there. You've got 2 of them there. Okay, so in a second I will show you how to attach that to the purse. So as you can see, I've got my 2 tassels made here, and I've got my little purse. So to attach my tassels to my purse, I'm going to go through this bead here, which is the one that's the middle of my purse, which you can see easily because it's the one in the middle of your clip. Okay, I'm going to go through it from the top with a piece of thread. I haven't got a big piece of thread here, you don't need much, about 30 centimeters, 12 inches. Okay, then I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, make sure you don't pull your thread out of your purse. Then I'm going to thread on 1 tassel. Okay, then I'm going to pick up another seed bead. Now your loops may be big enough for the seed beads to move freely through them, that's fine. Just in case they're not, that's why I'm threading them on like this. So then pick up another 4 after your second tassel. Okay, so there you go, and then you're going to tie a triple knot or a surgeon's knot, whichever one that you're happy with, to make sure that it's really nice and tight there. So I'm just going to do a triple knot. I find that that works well. Okay, and then just to strengthen that a little bit, what you can do is you can take your thread, you can go back through all of these beads again in your loop, okay, and through the loops of your tassels, okay, up through those there as well, and through this one here, actually this way, the same way that you went before. Okay, you can tie it together with your tail again if you wanted, just to make it extra secure. Don't want to lose your tassels. Just put another knot there. Okay, then just take your thread through a few more beads before you cut it off. Take that through there, and then just thread a needle onto your tail thread. Take that through a few beads, and then you can cut off your thread. And there's your little tassel embellishment on your little purse.